I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Avoidants who lack self-awareness love roping people into situationships. If you've ever experienced this kind of confusing dynamic, I'm going to tell you how and why it happened. In every situationship, there's at least one partner who has an avoidant attachment style. If you're new here and have never heard of avoidant attachment style, I'll explain. When a person has an avoidant attachment style, they'll struggle with things like emotionally charged conversations, vulnerability, and commitment. They'll also struggle to incorporate their partner into their life in a meaningful way. In a situationship, the avoidant tends to call all the shots. When it's time for you guys to talk, when it's time for you guys to hang out, the overall pace of the relationship, and they'll set time aside for everything else in their life before they set time aside for you. Even though you are emotionally and physically intimate, they make it very clear that you should not have expectations. So you have the avoidant, and on the other side of the situationship, you have the anxious partner. This is the person who blindly follows the avoidant's lead. But why does the anxious partner settle for breadcrumbs when in their heart they want so much more? It isn't because the avoidant partner is particularly amazing or because they're so in love. It is simply idealization. The anxious partner settles because they struggle with insecurity and a fear of abandonment. A scarcity mindset also plays a role in that decision. The anxious partner would rather stay in a relationship where their needs aren't being met than to feel like they were left behind or that they weren't enough. They also don't want to throw themselves back into the dating pool because they're afraid they might not find someone else. The thought of being alone while they wait for the right person is too uncomfortable to bear. So here's something that you need to understand. Avoidants who lack self-awareness and are doing nothing to heal their attachment wounds, they have a knack for spotting this stuff in people. They give less when they see that you're willing to accept less. They want things to be undefined so that when you ask them to meet a need for you, they can say, I don't have to do that. We're not really in a relationship. They want the benefits of your presence, of a relationship, without the responsibilities of one, going along for the ride and hoping they'll eventually want to settle down and give you what you deserve. That approach is not going to yield the results that you're hoping for. In fact, it's a surefire way to be in a relationship for a year and still not know what to call this person. These types of people are only capable of showing you respect when you have two things: strong boundaries and a low tolerance for BS. If this is something that you're currently struggling with, I strongly recommend looking into attachment theory. I'm also a huge advocate for therapy, but if you don't have the means or access to healthcare, there are plenty of books written by PhDs and licensed therapists on this subject. And if you ever want to vent to a friend or you need some tips on how to navigate through this kind of situation, I offer these really laid back one-on-one sessions where you're able to speak freely without judgment and of course get some feedback in return.